Greetings, I'm Pillar Nexus, and I'm back with my Deckworks. So I started this video a little bit ago to open up a pre-ripped kit for Riftbound Vendetta, and of course my computer crashed. So I've already opened up all the boosters, so I'm basically gonna start from this point because I'm. What else can I really do? I can't put the cards back in the boosters and pretend to be surprised. But the way pre-rips work is you'll get the kit. It'll give you a pack with your legend and your champion to start out with. It'll give you like 12 cards between those two domains. It'll give you one battlefield to work with. And then your deck is going to be 25 cards between your champion and your actual deck of cards to draw from. Without your legend, if you can't or don't want to use 3 battlefields, you can declare a blank battlefield as part of the setup for the game. You're limited to a 3-domain deck, and your legend must be 2 of them. You will need to provide your own runes. You can hope that the event made sure to bring runes, but I think it's best to bring enough runes for yourself and maybe 7 other potential players. But yeah, you'll have that little starting pack, you'll have the 5 boosters to work with, and that'll give you a lot of interesting cards to try to adapt to. Part of the appeal of sealed and draft and games like Keyforge are like you have to adapt to what you get. You have to have the skills to actually understand what it means to play that deck. So looking at what I got here, chaos and order. So one of the things Vendetta is introducing is opposed domains legends. So Kennen, Jace, and I'm trying to remember the Fury Calm one. Might have her in my box of extra runes. I'm pretty sure I pulled her. There's it. Yeah, Akali. Yeah, you'll have to adapt to that idea as well, because being able to combine some of the opposed domains together adds some interesting strategies. Some other stuff that gets added with Vendetta includes Empowered as a status. Being empowered means certain effects will happen in that context. Other things that will happen are flow, letting you play stuff from your discard pile. Other weird stuff as well. There's the cycle of decree cards, which work against opposed units, opposed domain units. Yeah, it's overall the set's pretty cool. Yeah, let's get back to this. So yeah, the point where I was interrupted was I was working on the chaos half of the deck. So it ended up with a minus Swiftfoot, Kinko Lifeblade, Tornado Warrior, Gust Monk, Stargazer, Tailcloaked Matriarch, and 2 Shadow Order Disciplines, with these spells Up from the Deep and Twilight Step. Twilight Step lets me move units of might 3 or less. Up from the Deep lets me add tentacles, and potentially more. I can... Oh yeah, there's another ability. Burn. You basically mill a card off your deck. Putting stuff in the trash that might have flow is an entirely viable strategy. There are other things that trigger off of having things in your trash, like Shadowblade Lurker. If you have cards with that name in your trash, playing further copies of that card are cheaper. Yep. I went with Tornado Warrior and Kinko Lifeblade. Kinko to get to the field and take it, and then Tornado Warrior to hide underneath, and then react later from face down to empower on one of my own turns. Make it empowered, give it ganking, and have it attack another field at a higher might. Mana to either get everyone a card or make everybody ditch a card. Depending on how I'm feeling and needing to shift the balance of things. And then Tailclub Matriarch, empower, choose a unit in your trash with energy cost no more than 3. Power cost no more than 1. And play it to your base, which is basically this chunk right here. We'll see what I can do on the order side, though. Yeah, let's keep these visible where I can remember, hey, this is the strategy I'm going with for this half. So what runes am I actually going to need? Chaos Power for Twilight Step and minus Swiftfoot for absolute sure. Let's see what kind of power I'm going to need for the order side, and build from there. But yeah, this is an interesting way of going about deck building. That you only need 25 cards. You can say I'm not playing the battlefield for one of your matches. It's entirely possible that you pull other legends and champions that you want to mess with, but you'll also play with up to 3 domains as long as like 2 of them are your legend. And I believe you can technically use any unit for your champion unit, just to give you some degree of freedom there. But it's still a challenge because you don't have a lot of cards to work with. Alright, Masa, Kicker to stun an enemy unit. Reluctant Leader to give when another unit's played, it gets stronger. Solaris Sunhawk, empower and give it plus might and reflect 2. Keeper of Law, cost less so we control battlefield with exactly 2 units. So I probably want to play it to my own, play it to a base and not disrupt that power. Recycle order and ready and give plus 1 till end turn. Use only if you've chosen an enemy unit this turn and only once each turn. So I have to mark an enemy unit by targeting them with an ability. I mean, if I've got Lacerate, choose a unit. If it's empowered, disempowered it, and the kill if it has 3 or less might. If this counts as choosing a unit but doesn't do anything, then it might still count to make Hungry Wolf useful. Soul Spinner. This is the MVP of both our decks that we're playing at the event. Let's play in Shen. They're playing Order as well. Ambush, you can play it as reaction. There's Kaylee as a champion unit. Empower can be powered up to 3 times. Normally you can only empower a unit once. Plus 2 might per empowered, and will empower 3 times, deflect 3 and ganking. I think this is the first time I'm seeing a multiple empower unit. Horns of the Dragon, tank. Expensive, but hey, it's not too bad. Keeper of Law again. Soul Spinner again. Noxian Emissary. Empower. Um, Death Knell, while empowered. Play recruit unit tokens. Get more tokens out there. And a third Keeper of Law. This Keeper of Law is kind of tricky to play with, I find. Because I have to control the battlefield, survive whatever my opponent ends up doing to me, in order to make sure that works out. So, knowing that this is the Vendetta pre-rift, I probably want to use the thing to let me target something that's empowered. Being able to make the base might of Unit 5, after I moved it. Might be a thing. Alright. I've already got 8 units on this side for spells. Maybe just try to get as many units as possible. So let's start by removing the more expensive units first, and go from there. If I only feature these 10, that leaves me two more slots. I think one Keeper of Law and then the Horns of the Dragon to round that out might be the key. In this instance, I need to be sure to have the order runes. So I can build a balanced rune deck instead of tipping to one side or the other. Yeah, I think that'll work out. So, what are some... Oh, yeah. What battlefields did I end up with? Shadow Temple. When you hold here, burn 3. Which works with being able to pull stuff in the trash. Heisho, Shell of the World. Players ignore deflect while paying for spells and abilities, choosing something here. So, let's not have my own units protect that one. Piltorbend Forage. You control this battlefield first from the gear activated ability played each turn costs 1 less. I have no gear. So I'll probably do is say this is going to be a blank battlefield. Because I don't want my opponent to have an advantage. Screw that. Alright. And then with that, we'll just keep in mind what I've put into the deck as I'm actually playing the game. And then make sure just pay attention to what I've got to work with. Yeah, it's just having to take on that challenge of just limited resources. It's why I missed the cube draft from Magic, playing that with people. I kind of missed Keyforge. It could have been handled a little bit better, I think, but the whole idea of unique decks is kind of interesting. But yeah, it's a weird thing to try to adapt to, is because you'll end up using cards you probably wouldn't use otherwise. Like, I don't know if I want to use this card, but my but I need to reach that deck limit somehow. And I'm not too thrilled with the other cards I'm using either. But yeah, the playing with a smaller deck, make sure you look up the rules for burning out, because there's an entirely possible chance that happens. Basically, if somebody needs to draw and they can't, they'll reshuffle but the other player gets a point, I believe. It has been a little while since I looked at the comprehensive rules. Oh, and heads up to anybody currently playing Constructed. Double check the current banned card list. It's been updated middle of July. Yeah. The actual format for playing the event, they suggest best of one. Because there were only two of us, we ended up playing 3 games. And I ended up playing the deck that I ended up with, which was Shen. Pretty useful. You're probably in a tank. It saved a good number of units, but more of the deck hinged on everything else I ended up playing. Again, Soul Spinner is the MVP for that whole thing. But yeah, what are some other games that have sealed formats that actually work pretty well? Try to look at other games, and you have to have some kind of energy system set aside. Like I brought runes. I bought a bulk rune thing, and then because I was going to build a ton of decks, and I still haven't gotten around to that. And I was just right before the day before the tournament. It's like, oh, the day before the pre-rift event, I sleeved a bunch of runes, put in a box. You know, very helpful box of here's runes in case we play sealed. And good thing I had that available because the other guy our event guy didn't find any. But yeah, if you're gonna have an event like that, make sure you're preparing ahead of time. Just have those runes available. Have card sleeves available. Make sure you show your opponent hey, these sleeves are empty before I come here. Don't be bringing in cards from other events into it. Yeah, it's my opinion of Vendetta overall is I think it's a good set. It keeps it. They're going to keep introducing more stuff, and these ones are kind of easy enough to deal with. To get a grasp on that it's not too terribly complicated. I just want to make sure I get the empower action timing down. Of can I empower on any turn or just is it limited to my own turn? Yeah. Vendetta is out now. It is released. People can go get boosters, booster boxes, the vaults, the new decks. Trying to remember what decks came out, but there's two new decks to pick up and explore the game. Now's a good time to get into the game and just play. It's fun. I like the system, and I'm always going to recommend it. Alright, thanks for watching. I might upload the original video as an unlisted thing, because the fact that it cuts off right as I'm about to get to the other part of building the deck, it's frustrating. I'm going to look into getting a replacement for this computer as soon as possible, because this is a liability I cannot have. Or just finding the setting where it can just make this not break on me. Not reset out of nowhere. Anyway, thanks for watching. It's Pellet Nexus. I'll see you next time.